よろしくお願いします。ようこそいろはセンターへいらっしゃいました。で、毎日が皆さんと楽しい交流ができれば嬉しく思います。いろはセンターは今日やどんなところをはプシャンさんとザイネさんから紹介してもらいますので、5分、10分時間いただければと思います。どうぞ皆さんお座りください。今日は話だ。面白いよね。おじいちゃんの時やるとね。2月は絵本巻きを作ってみんなで美味しくいただきます。よろしくお願いします。今までの道のりも10年前から始まっている活動で、でももうステージ is yours どうぞよかったら、私は簡単に紹介させていただいたんですけれども、よかったら自己紹介とか、アルベニアに来られた目的など話して
初めてアルメニアに来たうちの家内とこの間ドバイから3時間で飛行機ですね。うちの家内の荷物がなくなったんです。着物がなくて、ここで先ほどまで一生懸命ズザンさんと石川さんのおかげで一式お借りして、これで首相の前での着物で皆さんのおかげで着れましたので、ほっとしてます。ありがとうございます。私の自己紹介なんですが、もう一つ私たちがドバイからですね、飛行機でアルメニアの方に、ここからだったかな、飛行機でスーッと来たんですよね。で昼間なんですけどね、この辺が全部砂漠なんですよ。我々日本じゃもうそこら中緑なんです。飛行機の外からずっと日本の国内は全部緑なんです。我々は水のありがたさとか、緑のありがたさは全く感じのなくて、感謝の気持ちがない民族なんです。うちの家内がよくこういう砂漠でね、我々のご先祖さん、どうせ我々もアフリカから来たんだからね、よく我々のご先祖さんがこんな荒れ地を通ってね、多分我々が一番最初にアフリカから出たんだと思うんだよね。途中でワセクションを置いて訳してくれる人なんだ。あ、そうなの？途中でパス止めてもらって。英語でね、ここで考えたのは、うちの家内がここが緑になればいいね。英語の方が楽。ああ、そうだね。Thank you very much. Thank you very much for renting us the nice kimono for my wife. Did you translate it on this part already?
No, not yet.
I started from the beginning. I started from the beginning.
Yeah.
My wife lost one big luggage on the way from Dubai to Ireland. She has a kimono and other presents to many people, and she lost them. But fortunately, she put Yuzan-san's heart in my luggage. So she was successful to giving after medicine. And also, Ishikawa-san and Yuzan-san helped putting the kimono, drying the kimono. And she's now very happy, so we are very grateful. You are here and helping her to join our ceremony. 14th of May was it 2 days after today, you know. In front of them, I have to make a speech. And they are giving me 60-minute speech. And I was getting advice to my friends. Kirk Hamilton, he's my Caltech alumni. Caltech Institute. And also, Ishikawa-san used to work for Sony. We never worked together, but she's boss was my student. So she's my granddaughter in school. But she's always hearing ill part of my behaviors as a dominant Japanese typical dictator guy. I like dictatorship very much, in our family. But my boss is actually my wife always. But you know that Ishikawa-san is also boss probably in our company. She's very active. And we Sony people like to welcome many female excellent engineers. And usually those management put me in that position to take care of girls. I wanted always boys, excellent boys. But they all gave me very, very, helpless engineers always. So I was always complaining. But they found out I was a very bad teacher, but they learned lots of things out of my misbehaviors. So I'm, in a sense, a very good teacher because I make many mistakes. They learn from my mistakes. That's important. And they always say, you make many mistakes. That's why you don't get a promotion in the company. But they learn a lot from me, so they survive.
You are doing it intentionally, or?
No, it's I couldn't help myself to do that because I'm originally second son of my family. So I enjoyed lots of freedom. My oldest son was always obeying my parents' policy. And he has to study if their parents order him to study. But I'm a second son. And in Japanese culture, you don't inherit anything. All the money goes to my older brother. So I'm free. So that's why I have a chance to go to the United States. Even I didn't have to study for the college examinations. I wanted to work after high school. So I never studied. I always listened to American music. I enjoyed watching movies. And my family was very rich. So I have lots of records, American music, also in the weekends. Usually all the brilliant students go to some juku or something, or they study. But I always went to the movie theaters, and I enjoyed the movies from the 10 o'clock in the morning to the 11 o'clock, 10 hours, repeating the same movie all the time. 1 month. The same movie 1 month. So you learn all the dialogues without learning the meaning. That's when I was only the kindergarten age. So I went to the movies without looking at the subtitles. I only listened to the music and how people are behaving. And the 3-year-old boy and girls can understand it if you repeatedly looking at the same movies, right? That's the way I learned English.
That's from where you love.
Because I was
work
lifted.
with women.
Eh?
That's from where you love work with women, with girls.
I couldn't understand.
That's from where you love work with girls, with women.
Kasi hayır nasıl ki Kasım ya sasım cevap. 女性となんかお仕事し始めたからだと言ってるんですけど、何のことか私も来たばかりで。多分ね。
I was always a slave of the ladies. I tried to order the people, but they always quarreled. She's the one. They all rebelled. I tried, I'm the boss. You do whatever I order. But they ignore my orders. They do their own way, And actually, that's the way I do to my boss. So they were just imitating what I do. So it's helpless, For them, I'm a very good teacher in that sense. By not obeying me is a good way of their independence. and they can be judged by the. Usually in Japanese, people are very silent, try to avoid some frictions, and they don't want to challenge new things. But those ladies who joined my working place, office, they are all challenging. Let's go. And the top management of Sony was very active in that. Sony is an international company. They are always looking outside of the world. So women liberation is also Sony policy. Sony was willing to hire many active and very excellent girls. And they put me because I had education in the United States. That's why I wanted to have I have a responsibility of making an engineering device or some product. For that purpose, I need a very good Japanese trained engineers, but they always give me beginners. So I have to teach from the beginning always. But in that way, I learned how to teach. All they have to do is imitate me. So that's a good thing. I don't have to teach. Even the Caltech, we just observe the curve notes, how the professors in Caltech, they don't teach anything. They just behave, and we students just look at them. They write many books and so on, but in the classroom, they talk to the students, and we question, and we don't get too much about text. And one of the professors covered me. He never used any slides or text. He speaks. And even the Nobel Prize Simon, he always speaks. Other people, other assistant professors record everything. And that's why Feynman wrote a very nice physics book. He didn't write that book. The people around him helped him to make a book, even the cover me. He didn't write a book. The lady, the man helped to write a book. So cover became famous because of the book some other people wrote, but his name is on the top. Feynman was becoming very famous because he wrote 3 very good books, but he didn't write. But other people wrote. But his idea was very important, right? So management. That's a management. Yeah. And I did the same thing. Actually, even I'm trying to write the award-winning speech. I'm writing it. And he said, Yoshi, that's not the way Caltech way. Why did you do that? This is my foreign language, so I have to do it. And I'm trying to, where is my text? I'm trying to make a speech in Armenia. Well, where did I do it? I forget it. And I made a text here, okay? But they suggested, Yoshi, just speak this part and that part, and make it short. Oh, that's much better, And all I will say, Noring Gerarachum, Param Pashinium, Hayastani, Param Petcham, Bakchapet, Ageru Shurel, Ignaik, yet Pagnaik. I Srelego in the Hamar, Iskape met Atibe. Hunarmo, yet Etazin, Hamnankov, and Del, Walter Technology Ameri Bolu, Hamasharain, Nedulma, Hamar, Etakam, Bultanak. Octrevo artists, Tankan Nomen, including Eraraki Tune Heitner, Noring Erarachun, Valchape, Nicol Pasiniani, Nurtanaka Pasjam, Comete Antanerin, Antropo unnaturally undamaging, yet I sort of
아나로브치안.
내가 그치노고 오로로 하다션 유레인. And then I will speak a little bit in English. I would like to devote my remaining life through my long experience of educational and engineering effort for bringing the world for the betterment and happiness of our fellow friends and the young people all over the world. In conclusion, in my remarks, please allow me to express again my deepest gratitude for the Global High Technology Award, which now has given me a chance to challenge bringing your country, Japan, and around the world wide on earth to bring peace, happiness, and prosperity. I believe this is, and there is a bright future in Armenia, Japan, and the world. Yes, Habatame, Hayastani, Japoniai, Yef, Kamboch, Ashkarai, Paitsar, Abagain, Nor, I have to do more these things. That's why I have to practice.
Yeah.
You know, I am forgetting more than I remember. I found out that I used to remember and I used to memorize many things more than I forget. Nowadays, at this age, you don't believe it. When I started doing it, I was reading this fluently. Then I felt very comfortable. So I did some other paperwork. And 2 weeks later, I couldn't read it.
No, Armenian is very difficult language.
That's the way you think.
Don't think you forget. It's just very difficult. You're great.
Anyway,
For this short time.
and I also said,
For this short time, Armenian speech is great. Yeah, I think so. Because Armenian is very difficult language.
Yeah.
Only Shnor Hakalutun is.
see, that's true, I couldn't, I tried to practice speaking like music,
Yeah.
And when I was a little kid, I used to learn American songs like music. When I was 3 or 4, I didn't know any meaning, but I enjoyed the music, or the Disney music and so many cartoons, right? That's the way I learned.
It's better to learning language.
That's
Now I do the same for Japanese.
That's
I
great.
watch lots of time the same movie. I'm learning songs, and it helps learn language.
So I have a DVD, and she was surprised. You were watching the same. No, I'm not. I'm just listening. And I was always lying down, and sometimes I felt that I have to start all over again from the beginning.
Yeah, no.
But I enjoy it
Yeah.
very much.
So
Repetition is very important.
Subconscious is stronger than conscious.
That's right. So I learned American songs and anything while doing something else. So when I was studying, my brothers and my parents always scolded me because they wanted me to go to a good university. But I'm a second son, and so I have 4 brothers. Only the top oldest one was have a responsibility, so they have to obey the parents' guidance, right? But we are free from our parents, so I enjoyed that advantage. But anyway, I enjoyed it very much, and language is you have to enjoy first. Right?
Yeah.
That's very important.
Learning is fun.
And you learn things without meaning at the beginning, But you understand the feeling, the emotion exchange is very important. And And that's the way I was lucky. I had that kind of a chance when I was a student. And right now, I have one dream. I made an invention in Sony to make the light energy to electron energy. That's why you have a smartphone. I'm an inventor of this smartphone and also the video camera. And video camera and every video electric gadget absorb the photon energy, light energy. And some semiconductor parts will convert that energy to the electronic information. That's why you have a display. However, we can also use that photon energy only to make electronic energy. That's a solar cell. So I decided to challenge the new kind of a solar cell. And this place is called the Silicon Mountains. And I was educated in Caltech, and Kirk-san is also educated in Caltech. We are the ones, our friends made Intel and made the Silicon Island in California. And I moved to Sony, and I educated many young engineers. And I am the guy who made Silicon Island in Kyushu. My young generation, including her, they are the ones who are making the Sony products now. So she and I are very proud. We are the guys who created that. She and I are the ones who created the Silicon Island in Kyushu. Sony is now working with the TSM and Toyota and so on for power IC. So we are old, we are all the old soldiers. We don't contribute anything to the company, but we enjoy people working very actively, and they have lots of dreams. And now I came here, and you call this island Silicon Mountain, right? Then I think that you should have some semiconductor, factory or anything. You should make a solar cell here. That's what I am going to propose to the Prime Minister when we have a lunch and dinner together. And of course, you have already very good CAD tool and intellectual property. Synopsis. Yeah. That's very important. Synopsis has a CAD tool and an intelligent design tool and everything. Next thing is that you have to make the whole combination of the marketing and so on.
We have Siemens here.
Siemens, that's right. Yeah.
And Microchip also came recently.
That's right. That's the way your government is interested in to get more involved. And I'm happy that they are inviting many, Kirk-san is dealing with lots of industry. Maybe I could ask Kirk-san and Ishikawa-san to speak a few minutes. Would you let them talk a few minutes? I'm talking too much anyway. I'm not the boss to this one, but I'm asking who is there. So my wife is saying you spoke too much. So it's time to stop. Anyway, thank you. But thank you very much for what? Anyway, that's all I want to say. I want this place more wonderful and make the world happy. And my habitat, water and sunshine are free to all the people and for all the living things on earth. And we have to keep the earth clean and for the next generation. That's the philosophy of SDGs, environment. And I'm working on that in our company, also in Japan. And I'll skip all the slides as he said. But I'm working on this one. he's the mayor of Ati City. Ati City is working on the SDS project. And we are the member of SDS. It's important. It's a United Nations project. So it's good for all the people in the world. And semiconductor surely contribute to the environment. Low power. Also, the solar cell is also good, right? Electric car is good. Right? So semiconductor technology is very important. And you have that potential. And many people are thinking about this. I wish this place will become real Silicon Mountains. So I want to contribute.
I am working on that.
You are?
Yes.
Oh, that's good. I want to find friends who are interested in how to make the Silicon Mountains.
I will come back with some questions.
Okay.
Thank you.
I spoke too much. But, please let them talk a few minutes, then ask a question. Okay? Thank you very much.
Well, I'll just speak about one thought I had, which is that many of the people, so I had the same professors later on, did not do a PhD, but I took classes from them and learned about semiconductors from them. And what we've talked about the last several months, I go a few times, is how these people were very broad scientists and engineers. So they were material scientists that were figuring out what kind of material is the best semiconductor. And they really studied and understood the materials, and they then began to figure out how to make devices, and then they figured out how to put the devices together to make circuits, and figured out how to make complicated circuits that were then microprocessors, and continuing and continuing and continuing. And I think that science now has moved, so it has moved to a point where there was a time where there was a lot of specialization. But I think a new era is beginning, and that is with metamaterials. So maybe you know what I mean with that. And so there's new ways now to, well, it could be an application, but it's really, there's possibilities now to put materials together and create structures that one could not do before. Create new structures. And so that's why I call them meta materials. So they're not really new materials, but they're new combinations of materials that can do new things. And so it's maybe a new phase where people begin to create again and create new kinds of possibilities, new ways of computing, even with metamaterials. So quantum computing is one area, but there's a lot of other areas of metamaterials. And then one other theme we had was that each, at several stages, so who was the first one? Are we talking,
I was not listening to you. I was
yeah,
listening to my wife.
I was thinking about something else. So the first transistor.
I don't listen to other people's talk.
Yoshi,
Okay.
we've had the conversation of so when Intel was created, when Fairchild didn't want to do
that's right.
didn't want to do what the founders of
You know,
Intel.
every time we rebel to the teacher.
Yes.
The transistor was invented by the three-other Shockley and I forgot the name. I forget the three guys. And then Shockley made Shockley research lab. So he hired his Caltech guy, Gordon Moore. And Gordon Moore and Shockley were first, they were good friends. But Gordon Moore rebelled Shockley and he made Fairchild. And at that time, Fairchild, Gordon Moore was just a poor, moneyless engineer. So he had to borrow money from the sponsor. So anyone who has the money control is the boss, right? So, but Gordon Moore engineer, he was looking for the future. So after the bipolar transistor invented by Intel, invented by Bell Lab, Goldman thought about most digital in the future. But Fairchild did not want to invest the money on the bipolar. He enjoyed the benefit of the bipolar transistor technology. So they were not interested in the future MOS technology. So the Golden War escaped from Fairchild. People many years. They started fighting against Fairchild. And then Fairchild went down and Intel went down. And I was the first student happened. I knew all that. And I was originally trying to get into the internet. So I know how the Intel grew from the beginning. So the answer is the Golden War. Is that the person you want to?
No, I was trying to think of Shockley's name.
Shockley. Oh, Shockley.
And that gets to the materials because he was thinking germanium was.
That's right. That's
And so, Fairchild people said no.
No, silicon is the target. Yeah, that's right.
So they left and said silicon. We're going to start for silicon.
And one more thing.
Yeah.
And at that time they used the thermal diffusion. But Intel used the ion implantation.
That was then Fairchild to Intel.
That's right. But originally from germanium to silicon is the first rebellion, first revolution for the material. And the second generation revolution is the semiconductor apparatus, how to make the design. That's the technique of thermal. And the Chinese now are making the solar cells using only the thermal diffusion process. But the Sony, I brought the idea of ion implantation from Intel. Intel was successful using the MOS technology. Golden Moore was very wise. He see the future of the MOS transistor, So he has a scaling, Golden Moore lab. And also, he was very interested in ion implantation. And this ion implantation technique was invented many professors around the university, especially in our university. Jim Mayer and Bob Mayer and many people were interested in ion implantation technique. And Caltech, they didn't know that we are the ones who actually helped Intel to use ion implantation technology. And they made a lot of patents. So no one can compete with Intel. Intel has the philosophy of digital, most will the future. No, everyone was thought of the thermal diffusion is satisfactory for the semiconductor, but the Intel says no future. You can control all the impurity, doping, and everything precisely according to the theory of the device simulation. Ion implantation can power exactly what we desire. You can control the position of each atom in the silicon crystal. So we have a very good computer programming in Caltech. Many people work on the computer program science, and maybe many undergraduate students work on the computer science rather than the device technology. So that's the way we started working for the internet and also computer simulation. So Sony and Stanford University decided simulation and computer simulation, all of them, IT is the key. And these are created Yahoo and Google, all the computer scientists.
I think there's another example with cars, because automobile companies make money well enough from cars, so there's not a lot of a motivation to produce electric cars. It was done in the 1990s in the US. It's actually a very successful car, but General Motors wasn't going to make as much money off of that as they were with others, so they just canceled the project. Right? And it took a few more decades for somebody else to come along who is not in a car company to make electric cars. And so this happens a lot with companies. People want to do something, and the bosses say no, so they leave and go on their own.
You have to introduce yourself.
Please introduce yourself.
Why you are here?
Please. もしかして
日本語で話して強くしてもらってもいいですか？あ、もちろん。
日本語で訳してく
はい、
ださい。
全然いいですか？はい。技術的な話はできないけど。セミコンダクター。
その時は僕は英語に訳してあげる。
あ、まあいいや。大丈夫。
ここで座っててもいいの？
ここで大丈夫です、大丈夫です。
座ってもいいですよ。
多分ね、日本語ゆっくり喋るの皆さん分かる。
多分、わからない人もいる。わからない人もいます。はい。
バレー。今のな、石川って。
So let me introduce myself. As Dr. Hagiwara told us, I am a second generation student. So I used to work for Sony for 27 years, from 1982 to 2008. Thank you very much.
大丈夫ですか？
大丈夫です。
うまいよ、英語ちゃんと。
そうですね、そう思います。
And thanks to Hagiwara-san's invention, Hagiwara-san is a scientist. I am a design engineer. So there is a little difference, not little, great difference between scientist and engineer. No. Thanks to his invention, as the seeds of the semiconductor CCD image sensor. And then I take advantage of his seeds technology, and I develop and design and to commercialize the real device. Today, I brought the real device, CCD image sensor. So if possible, please touch. So commercialization.
That's like 400 left.
How old were you when you designed that? How old were you?
My age?
That time.
Not now age?
No, that time. How old were you?
How long? How age? How long time?
1987年のどのぐらいの
This is 1987.
87年。
Developed and developed and developed. And then invent. No problem. And then finally, we invented the variable speed electronic shutter. Shutter is normally mechanical shutter in the camera system. But we invented without mechanical shutter. And then we call it electronic shutter. And then very approximating technology.
Okay, because I have to record it, so you stop talking. I have to check. You are a superstar. We need a camera to record it.
Nowadays, CCD image sensor changed to CMOS image sensor. Image sensor structure is itself the same structure now also. But the output system is a little bit revolution. CCD is a, how can I say, signal transfer.
Sequential.
Sequential, yes, sequential.
It's a transmission line. Data transmission line. CCD is just a transmission line by line.
CMOS is at the same time, same pixel come out as a picture. Yes, yes, right. And then furthermore, the number of pixels increase more and more and more megapixel. And we realize the high definition camera. And nowadays, various kinds of application, factory automation, robotics, car, surveillance camera, security camera, and so on, medical, and so on. And nowadays, Sony's share of the image sensor is about 45%. Sony is called the Intel of image sensors now. And then, but Hagiwara-san and I founded not only image sensor, but also solar system because of the light to electron conversion effects is very, very high according to the image sensors technology, especially Hagiwara's image. And then beyond image sensor, we challenge to quite new meta solar system. But most of the people who engage to the solar system engineering, management, and company didn't understand this phenomenon. And then we can challenge to next generation's approach. Thank you very much.
Which questions?
Oh, Japanese. Japanese. We are going to have a lunch and dinner with Aoki Yutaka-san.
Yes,
And we have
ambassador.
Okay. Yeah, we have. So it's we honor Armenian government. So it is a polite way to keep shut down until they announce. And I didn't know they are already announced today. I didn't know that. So I tried to make confidential until May 15th. But it's there. I didn't know that. It was on the website. And I made it all text, try to introduce my background. But Cook and the other people said, oh, you don't have to say, it's on the website. You can make the award speech shorter. That's helped me, I thought many people didn't understand why I'm getting the award. But it's written there, it's on the public paper now. So I don't have to explain how I was rating anymore. I only have to talk about the future of Armenia. Why are we here? Because we want to have a collaboration. That's the only thing that I have to talk at the award. Right? So that makes my load very exciting. So I can enjoy more time with the people and enjoy tour around.
I have a question. Thank you very much for your presentation. But how do you see this collaboration through education program empowerment or through engineering sector development? How do you see this?
I am a member of the Senior Semiconductor Industrial Society of Japan. I used to be the program chair, and our SSIS organization can also help the collaboration with many people internationally. I will be bridging this with this occasion. So far, I have been devoting my work to make the internally in Japan. Our organization were originally organized by the old boys of the many semiconductor companies, and we were actively working only in the Tokyo area. But now we are trying to educate people in the Kyushu Island Also the Tohoku and Hokkaido. In Hokkaido, they also have a new super lab, and they need lots of young engineers. In Kyushu, we also need lots of engineers. So I started educating in 2018. I educated 200 engineers in Sony secretly. Now they are the tutors for 2,000 new employees. I have those figures. I taught 200 engineers in the last 5 years, since 2018. It's for 7 years. And now they are the teachers. And last year, Sony, Toyota, and TSM hired a new freshman, 2,000 employees, which they are teaching. And then maybe we can do all, we need lots of engineers anyway. That's why we want young engineers to get involved with semiconductor industry. So we have to teach. And the purpose is application for the IO, robotics, and so on, like electric cars and so on, all the surgery equipment, all the small blood tube control system, a sensor, and also they have to have a machine which can cut very small things. It's a MEMS. He's also a MEMS expert on that, small mechanical cutting and squeezing machine, small thing. It's all connected. It's all connected to the computer, which is made for semiconductor device, right? Intel is an expert on it. But AMD and other IBM, they are also collaboration.
If I may, sorry, one.
Did I answer or I'm diverting?
It's interesting, but I was curious. For example, we have engineering community in Armenia, we have students community in Armenia, we have engineering city in Armenia. There is a future, for example, to have a factory city. It's just an idea. But I'm curious, so what is your target? For example, you are gonna work with engineers to develop new trainers in Armenia, or students to develop new educational programs towards for future?
My final target is education is just a means to make the final goal. We need lots of soldiers to make my dream. My dream is make AI robotics and also solar cell energy to free all the people in the world from the oil and gasoline and fuel. Those are not friendly to our environment. Solar energy is the key for our future, and wind and water. We have to use semiconductor devices to control effectively the wind energy to convert to wind intelligence to make these natural solar and also wind energy to make efficient electric energy. And that electric energy can feed the electric devices, right? So we want the electric devices to help themselves, right? That's important.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
That's the main purpose. No fuel, what is it? Oil. Yeah?
Okay, so AI empowerment with semiconductors. AI empowerment, like what are you doing now? Okay, got
That's important to make things convert to energy efficiently. We need the AI. Anyway, to help people, we need the AI. Everything is AI anyway, right?
Yes, currently AI is relevant.
AI is important. That's we are going to have a seminar. Mountain, Lori. We are attending that. We are
Which day? Which day?
May 15.
15? Yeah.
Are you attending that seminar or expo?
And maybe I will come. If you will be there, I will
I'll
come.
be there.
I will come.
Okay.
We are all invited to go there?
15.
15.
In a couple of days, you will be there 15.
15 on
Okay.
Thursday.
Okay.
Are you also involved in the this kind of technology?
No, I am traveling and I will be not. I will be out of city these days, so I will
But you
Yes.
said that you seem to have a very easy question or something. I'm afraid he may give me a very difficult question.
Yes,
Yes,
we are doing software for silicon. So I had the chance to work with FPGAs, with EDA.
Oh, that's important.
Yes, and so a lot of that kind of stuff. So I had the chance to work with foreign companies, like from US, from Asia, and etc. Now I am trying to learn Japanese to make connection with Japanese guys. And you are the interesting.
I'm interested in. We can be a student and teach each other.
Sure.
In Armenia, we have a team in Institute of Physics. We also make solar cells, but we use not silicon. We use perovskite.
Yeah, that's good. That's good too.
This our solar cells we make.
Our colleague is also making the solar cell.
Yes, we.
And city of Atsugi, where I live, he's an alumni of the Yokohama Toin University, who invented, the professor invented the perovskite. And my mayor, my city, is very much favor of the perovskite. And I said, that's a single junction type for the
Three junction.
It's a single junction.
Yes.
Do you understand that?
Yes.
My invention can be applied for perovskite too. It's a double junction. It's a two sets of a single junction. It's a combined structure, which has theoretically 39% or 30%. If you have a single, you have only 20%. But if you double it, theoretically, you get the 40.
But in space, use multi-junction.
But you know, they needed to connect it. They had metal. That was the problem. But if you use the bipolar sonic bipolar technology, you don't need the metal in between. You need only P and P. It's not a tandem type. They are making what you know the organization of the current conventional double and triple are tandem. They call it tandem, right? My invention is not tandem. They are kissing each other. Diode kissing, transistor kissing. That's my invention. It's not tandem. And we don't need a metallic or transparent metal in between. That's why we need all semiconductor, no metal in between. That's my target. That's why Sony made that good image sensor. We didn't need a transparent, but Philips and many people use the transparent other material. But single material, perovskite is okay, any material, gallium oxide or amorphous silicon, they can also make bipolar transistor. Any process. Perovskite, I believe it can make a bipolar transistor out of it. And if you add light, my idea is simple. Light transistor rather than the diode. That was my original idea when I was 25. So I'd like to go to your lab and you don't need an extra thing. All you have to do, make a symmetric. You have already thing, right? Or a mirror image, right? So all you have to do, change the how do you coat it, Immediately, in 10 days, you can make it double. And you can see predict. Normally, the perovskite type has a limitation of about 20% or so, right? Then probably you get 39%. But the cost is the problem. Usually they enjoy already make a business, right? It's very hard to know. They have a lot of momentum. So you need lots of facility and grant. But I'm a scientist. I didn't care about money. But those sponsors have to take care of it, right? Are you an R&D type or are you a business type? Which one? Research oriented?
Research.
I'm research oriented. That's why Sony people didn't like me because I was always doing the research. I didn't go to the customer satisfaction type thing. That's why I didn't become a CEO of Sony. Because I didn't care about the business, right?
In this year, I'm going to a PhD program in this topic.
Then I show you the my work. Maybe many papers there. I try to convince Sony to become my sponsor, but they didn't listen. So I need, but those guys are making good business. They are Hagiwara, we are busy making money now. I cannot afford doing other things. We don't like So if someone decided that it will be world watching it, it's industrial competition, right? So they don't want a political thing. I don't want a political thing. I'm not just scientist. I just want to see if they can make a reality or not.
There's some
very
important.
important.
There's some important business aspects, though.
But once you made it, someone will be interested in to make a sponsorship. I'm sure that. That's a good thing. If it's good, it gives a good result. Money and other, new projects. So usually the successful event comes another challenge. One challenge, successful result of one challenge will generate many new challenges. Money comes later, but it will surely come if you have a good result. So don't worry about the money, but try to get the real good result. That's much important. So you are the person who changed the world, we are researchers. That's why Celtic are doing that kind of revolution. We want to challenge new things. Okay, and there's other guys who have the money will follow us, right? That's the way out.
But who have the money, they are on oil, yes?
No, yeah, that's right. Many.
Interest?
I was invited to the many oil companies because they want to, even the Idemitsu, they were looking for the solar cell because after they were thinking about the future. They are now making the money by selling the oil to Japan. But in their R&D center, they are making a solar cell. They are thinking about the time when the oil disappears.
Will be end, yes.
Yeah, they have to work for the next generation. In the research center, they have many solar cell engineers. But they are selling gasoline, right? But they are thinking about the future. We have to think about the future for the next new technology anyway. That's important.
Are you going to design automation conference in San Francisco?
No, I'm a retired guy. My wife doesn't allow me to. I have an awful time. Last October, Caltech allowed, he also attended. I had an awful time to convince financially. And Caltech president invited me and her.
Well, he did invite me.
He invited
myself.
Okay, I have a VIP and Caltech invited me, but I met, he's alumni, okay? I'm also alumni, so everyone is invited to the alumni. And every year come, but this time, Caltech invited me for special award ceremony. We have four guys that honored distinguished award. I gave that award to the four. And one of these found out the Nobel Prize winner. I was giving the award to the Nobel Prize Chinese girl. And in her speech, she said, Caltech Alumni Award is much important than Nobel Prize. That's what the other way. In many cases in Japan, people get the Nobel Prize, then the Emperor of Japan gives the award. Sometimes it happens. So we were joking because she had the Kobina medical. She did a very good contribution for the coronavirus vaccine. She's one of the contributors. That's why she got this prize
Well, if you organize a conference, it can only be in Japan.
Actually, I did not publish any paper until 2019 because Sony made a policy not to publish anything in any journals, and also Sony discouraged filing patents. Even IBM and Intel, in most of cases, they decided not to publish any papers, no important topics. They try to hide. That's why no one can recognize any paper. Now, I'm not sure eye implantation technology, who invented that? We don't know it. But the Intel secretly developed we both ours they were secretly doing that. No, actually, we have no secret at all. We have all the Chinese students, Russian students, and even in the theoretical department, we have a student from Moscow in 1967. We were fighting the Vietnam War, and we were doing that. And we have a PhD student in the physics department, Moscow. They were surprised that we were fighting against the president. Fire the president, and he was yelling, "What is this country talking against?" But we said, "We are the people, we are the master, and they are our employees. The president of the United States, Prime Minister of Japan, they are the ones we selected. We are the masters. So if they are making a wrong decision, we have to tell to the president, tell the truth. And that's why in the company, usually we say, we usually not obey our boss. We always and in Caltech, professors want to have lots of questions. I learned that from always. Professors are not perfect. They want to ask the students to make questions so that they want to make their material more clear to the students. They are also, that's why they ask questions.
There's actually, you said you never went to talk to the professor. Actually, a friend of mine and I did it quite differently. So, Tom McGill was his PhD, and he was my undergraduate advisor. And when it was our senior year, I think myself and another friend of mine, Michael, so we would always go in and talk to Tom just to chat to him and speak to him and ask him questions. And so, but he told us we were the only ones that ever did that.
That's right.
And so most students do not take advantage of the teachers around them, and you really can go and just, you don't have to be invited, invite yourself.
Without appointment. And disturbed, if they were talking some VIP and so we don't care. Knock on the door and tell them, get it, but we are the baby, so we don't obey any etiquette. we are urgent because it deals with a very hard problem. Otherwise, we flunk the examination. Basically, you can talk later. You can talk later. So professors are very understandable to us. They are all welcome our questions. And that's why I have and I after special, very special student, always asking questions, stupid questions to the professor without any without any humbleness or shyness. We are not shy. So speak, speak in it. Okay, the lady, right? I welcome these people asking questions.
Do you have access to the laboratories in Japan? I mean, is there any labs where you can do some experiments, and also students from here can come and join or do something?
Oh, no, I don't have any lab, but I can visit as a guest. But I don't belong to any because I'm retired.
I see.
But I don't have money.
I don't have access to labs, no. But
so
depends
I'm
on where
trying
you
to
wanna go.
understand
I know
how
people-
to encourage these ideas.
Oh, they invite us.
They invite me.
Whenever in April and March, they have 230 newcomers. They ask us to give what is semiconductor, how to design a website. They are lazy to teach newcomers. They are too busy for business. So they professor, college professors to teach young, because most of the college students do not study in Japan. They study after joining the company. So we have to teach everything. So I scold them, what did you do in college? You were always lazy, you didn't study anything. How did you get into this country? I was teaching many students that I was a special power harassment guy. See, I was a really arrogant engineer. If I were in this, in Sony this year, one word, Sony will fire me. And she knew. Her boss is my student. Always. I used to tell her, whenever she makes a mistake, I don't distinguish boys and girls. Right? So when she entered my group, I told her, I don't think I treat you like a man. You know? So whenever you make a mistake, I'll scold you. And if you make too many mistakes, I'll fire you, like a boy. But usually in Sony, they try to treat girls special. And I didn't like that philosophy. So I was fighting the top management of Sony. Why do you make the ladies so special? That's why in America, I didn't distinguish boys and girls. I acted as if I were in Kyoto, Japan, you know. So I always treated girls like the boys, and I don't distinguish them. So I'm a more scientist, and that's why I was not kind to the ladies either. I was arrogant. I asked the ladies to walk 2 meters behind always. Like in Japan, you know, girls usually walk about 2 meters behind. I was that kind of guy. I was Kyoto. I was raised in a rich family in Kyoto, so I didn't have to use any heavy anything like chopsticks or anything. You know, all the people served me. And when I was sponsored by an American family, I was like a guest. And but they welcomed me because I was silent. I didn't never follow. And Yoshi speaks only 2 words. And he's a lightest summer. They all misunderstood me that time. But I was really try to be honest to everything. And if I don't like it, I don't like it, and if I like it, I like it. But I didn't have a custom to speak verbally. So I never say thank you to anyone in America, even my wife. But I try to show my thankfulness by behavior, you know. Japanese don't talk too much. We don't say I love you, at all. But we care by behavior, you know. We have a good family, and whenever I come back home, I didn't say anything, but my wife prepared food and so on, and we do that. We don't have any human conversation. We call it that's the way I was raised. I have the culture shock.
I think in Armenia you can feel like at home.
That's right.
Because here is we have some similar traditions.
And when I see it in the grammatical constructions, even the address. In America, you have a street number first, and district and city. But I see that city and the district and the number, like a Japanese way, you know. And even when I started a speech, you said Japonia E, you know, you have a E. That means some way, right? How much also many, what is the suffix or
Suffix,
yeah.
Must.
It's like a Japanese. I just curious. Maybe I can ask later to the historical. How old is the grammar of the Armenian? You know that?
No, it's too old. I don't know exactly.
But it started when Armenian.
We
More than 2,000 years old, isn't it?
We have few thousands.
That's right. That's
history,
right. It should be that.
But
Okay,
Last
about
one.
maybe
Armenian.
they can say
Okay, about Armenian language, we have before common era like languages that Arata coming, but and also our alphabet, which was kind of destroyed because some suggestion that they were. But currently, this alphabet and this grammar, it was developed by Master Mashtot. It's coming from 5th century. So
5th century.
5th century,
Oh.
yes.
That, but I'm saying language must be much older than.
Yes, it's much older. Coming from Arata.
Language doesn't have history.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it has, and it's coming. Yes, because for example, 2000 before common era. Yes, 2000 years we have these languages, and also you can see some descriptions between Sumerian, Babylonian, and now yes about Armenia, Arata. So because of that, we have this language coming, and then there is no evidence, this kind of that we keep our what is our language. Because of that, we have this kind of problems because our all ideas and everything were written like in Latin, in Greek. In additional languages like Sumerian and etc. But this final version, which is coming, all the structure and everything was developed in 5th century. But yes, we are old due to this.
There is an opinion that Mesrop Mashtots was refounding everything because it was even built before. But we know that he just everything reorganized again. Because it was lost, but it was even before.
That's right. I think the language came before the Christ, anyway. Even the Chinese and the European language, it's all came because they are always the Roman was there before the Christ time. And then all the language was established. The grammatical language was established way before 2,000 years. And no one was writing. So all we had to do is just imagine, we have no evidence. But for the many things showed, even some 4,000 years ago in Egypt, they have some meteorite, and the structure shows the language form. So I'm just curious, European says I love you, right? Chinese also say I love you, but we say I you love in Japanese case. We change the grammar. And I just wondered, how do you say I love you? And I'm not, so if you see, you need some suffix for the object, right? So you modify that. So, as long as you have the E or something, all doesn't matter, in Japanese. あなたが好きですよね。私はあなたが好きですよ。You can also get, あなたを私が好きですとかね。だから、オートガがあるおかげでね、我々だってね、もう文法がないんだよね、日本語にはね。そういうのね。all combination says the same meaning. But in English, if you change it, even the, 数字ね、12と21では意味が違うわけだよ。数字をオーダーで変えるだけで。それが僕はものすごく難しかったんだよね。なんで I love you とね、I love you と You love me ね、どっちが愛してるのかね、助詞がないから最後の英語の研究した時に理解できなかった。英語は簡単。簡単ね。オーダーで決まるからね。だから早く。オーダー、順序でね、もう意味が決まるからね。日本の方は、おとかあーつけるから、逆に主語とか省いちゃうんだよね。俳句とかそういうのがあるとね。もう分かってたら全部省くことね。英語は必ず主語とか入れないといけない。
俳句の世界では、分かりきっていることは表現しない。他から類推できるから。
To this concept, I remember from learning Tibetan that the monks were telling us there's also no word for thank you. They were not accustomed to saying that because you meant it.
We have two kinds of Armenians now.
Oh, yeah,
Eastern
Western,
Western, yeah. And
grammatical construction is different?
Yeah. If you don't know Armenian, it's very difficult to learn both. So you have to choose.
I'm trying to choose the Western, and he bought Eastern Armenian.
Where are they used today?
We went to the bookstore.
You want to buy a book?
No, where are they used today, those two different forms of the language?
We have lots of Armenians out of Armenia.
Yeah. So that's Western Armenian.
Diaspora, Western use the other Armenian. We understand.
But interesting fact about Armenian, as you mentioned in the European group, Armenian, Greek, and Albanian, they are languages that we have now in the another group. We are separated. Yes, we are separated. And you? Yes.
When I was studying learning, I see very interesting grammatical structure, which is very close to Japanese grammar.
There is something.
So I believe that this is much older than the European language. Your language is much. Our Chinese is the new language. We are the old one. Mongolian and Korean and Japanese are much older than Chinese. They are artificial language. All the Chinese philosophy are created in Chinese. And only the emperor and few people were speaking. They forced all the peasants to speak the language properly, and everyone able to speak it. They have a stone. If they don't obey, they kill all of them, right? So they have to learn new language structure, and probably they learn it. They're all the Chinese characters. They found that the European language is more convenient. The philosophy of the people serving to the emperor of China, they learned European language. So they decided to create a new grammar. Like a Korean language, they made a new language in 14th century. They have a Hangul. Many scholars make a language, and that influenced the nation. And that's my inspection. I'm not expert on that field, but that might be one possibility. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's a good. You can make a fiction movie on that. But there are many possibilities, right? Anyway, because this is beyond our, written history, right? So all I have to do is we have to do the imagination. And I just wondered, the original question was, when who actually done it? Even the Armenian, where the word come from? We will say Armen, right? Christian. And you have the Armenian, right? So when Christ was there, I don't think the Christ was doing Amen. It came after that. I don't think. And it started Armenian or not? That's my question. What is the origin of why you use the Amen? It's a Latin word or which one? Are you using Amen? That's what I learned.
We are using Amen, but I don't know from where it's
no one knows. I asked the questions once when I was still.
But of course, the Christianity is younger than our nation and our history. We, as God said, we came from Sumer, from Babylon, etc. So that's why Christianity came from
after that, right?
And what about Amen? I think.
What
about Amen?
Do you know?
I think Christianity and other faiths uses lots of things from old history, from old faiths. So maybe, and then also something from all these faiths that maybe
Is it
all
the
the
Latin?
Christians
Is it the Latin or what language?
From Zoroaster,
Maybe,
paganism.
maybe because all faiths they're not just new. They use lots of things from
Yes.
all these
All the religions.
religions and faith is not maybe not religion, but maybe it's new only for Christians. I don't know if somebody can say. Maybe.
I looked it up and Amen comes from Hebrew.
Hebrew.
Could be Hebrew. But nobody can say that they created this word.
So they have their own religion before the Christianity. So they were using a similar, word. That's why they decided to use the same word for the Christian.
Could be.
It's suggestion, but it's suggestion. It's not fact.
It's
So
just
I say it could be.
could be, yeah.
Because to create something new,
we don't have evidence, but I understand that.
Yeah.
It's just supporting. It's how to go.
Analyzing about.
Analyzing means 予想って何？
Brainstorm.
Speculation. Scientists usually try to seek for the possibility, and we try to do experiments to prove what we want to get the result. Scientists usually have a dream. They have their own expectation for the result. That's why that's the power of the scientist. They dream his estimation and realized by experiments, right? So they are all encouraging them spend time to prove their theory. Experiment and theory, both are very important. But in history, it's very hard to just justify because we don't have a records.
Yeah.
So all we do is our imagination. There are many possibilities. Which one do you like? it's a guessing word. But no one can say which is correct or not. But we enjoy looking at how the ancestors are doing. By imagining the future, we also enjoy. Also, we enjoy how our ancestors are, came out of the Africa to move around all the world. We didn't know we all came from Africa. I learned it when I was in elementary school. I couldn't believe it. I thought we were born in Japan Island, from the beginning. We have our own God and so on. Shinto,
Yeah.
We are the son of. I believe in that when I was 2 or 3 years old. We were doing this stuff. When I entered the elementary school, they said that we all came from Africa. Oh, I don't believe it. That's a culture shock. When I went to the USA, they also have a different thinking. Oh, they are different from the Japanese people. They think very different. They express I love you in song so frequently in the movie. So they never say I love you to my wife. I never seen my father saying I love you to my mother. But they were very intimate. And then we had a very good family type, very strong. Without words.
I think there's a scientific analogy to language and history, which is, for example, in earth science or in some others. So there are sciences where you can't do experiments. You can't create a new earth and try to run climate and do new work. And so much of it is very interpretive and getting evidence and trying to get clues. And maybe you can't really prove something like you would with an experiment, but you have kind of an argument and many converging lines of evidence. This is maybe the most likely origin. And it could be of language, or it could be of culture, it could be also, how the earth has evolved. I think there's some similarities there. I learned that because I started in physics. We talked a lot about physics. But I moved to geological sciences, and I spent 10 years at least working in geological sciences. And what I learned was that it's entirely different kind of science. Totally different. It's not like physics. Because you can't do experiments. You have to learn a lot and put clues together and create arguments, and that's it.
What about languages? In my humble opinion, so languages is to make easier understanding people.
That's a good way.
But the most powerful language is gestures language. I think so. It's why Japanese
face.
Not only face. You can do like this and or something like this, and it's why I think Japanese people don't speak so much, but they understand from gestures. Because if you don't know any language,
That's why they
I can understand.
That's why they expelled me. You are not a Kyoto man. So I didn't pay attention to other people's manner. And I was born in a very old-fashioned Japanese family. Many my relatives priests, all the temples, they are my relatives. But all the people did that, and I was always playing around in the temple and hiding behind Buddha and everything. They are my playground. Kinkaku and Sanji Sangyo, many, they are priests of my relatives, actually, Higashongani, Otan-san, and they are. Because we are the descendants of the soldiers during the 16th century. We lost the Hagiwara battle. Tokugawa established a new feudal thing. We were fighting, our descendants were fighting against Tokugawa, and we lost. So So we became what we call jobless, right? So we have to do lots of work how to feed the children. That's why we entered the police and other business. And we didn't get any salary from the Okinawa airline. So we decided that they try to do lots of business. Many loaning, many. We were the loaning. My descendants, my ancestors are loaning. So they made lots of different business, construction, entertainment, and making wine and sake. And also they made an engagement with many of our ancestors, daughters and girls married to temple priest, Buddha priest, because in that way they don't worry about the eating, right? By girls marrying the priest, they don't worry about lifelong, they can feed their, that's why we have lots of relatives.
Hagiwara-san, that's not good, right? Dainichi Nyorai.
Oh, that's right. I'm not, it's not, there are many sectors,
Yeah, could be.
Yeah. But I became very interested in European language and also European religion because my stepfather took me to Catholic church, Catholic school. And the first English teacher was Father Catholic priest from Montreal. He doesn't speak. He speaks a very good Japanese, but he doesn't speak good English. I spoke English better than him. That's why I was always studying. But he's the guy who gave me a chance to come to the United States.
Now they say, I just have read that because the new generation uses internet and
right.
English, so languages, they don't use their native languages and everything getting lost. Kind of Romaji or Armenians also, every people when they speak messages, send messages, they speak in English letters. So new generation doesn't want to learn in native languages properly. So that's a big problem for nowadays.
That's me. I used to
You're not a
watch.
new generation.
I used to watch lots of foreign movies, so I didn't learn classical old Japanese. My Japanese is very bad. I always tell. In America, we don't do this. In Japan, we have to eat silently. I asked my father, why don't you speak while eating? I was the only one speaking. And my father and my parents always said, shut up. You have to be quiet while eating. You have to enjoy the food. But I said, Mom, I had something today. I have very interesting. I want you to bless me or something. But okay, just eat quiet. I violated many Kyoto classical, even food. Kyoto has a special food on some pickles and so on, and I didn't like it. And that's also another, I didn't find the culture. But I enjoyed the spaghetti and hamburger and hot cake and so on.
So what do you like the most now? What do you like the most now to eat? Your favorite food?
Kentucky Fried Chicken. And you know that, that's the only thing that I eat, Kentucky Fried Chicken. When I was in small, I couldn't eat no chicken anymore because I enjoy raising chicken. In my I enjoyed it, I was always going to grandpa's house. They are making many chickens. And I got it, I enjoyed it, I made it big. One day that was on the dinner table, you know. I was really mad, you know. Where is my baby, you know?
Yeah.
It's on the table, you know. I cried, you know. So I couldn't, but when I went to America, they always make a fried Kentucky chicken, you know. I have to eat it, and I did it. Oh, it tastes good. So I buy fried Kentucky chicken many times, but I remember. And when I see it, I always cry. She feels very, you know. I always look over.
Kind of history happened with me. I had a rabbit.
A rabbit?
Yeah. I love bread. One day I came and saw it on the table. A long time I didn't eat rabbit meat. I think now I eat it.
Same thing, right? My kids like eat chicken very much. Oh, they don't have such an experience. Like I had a wonderful experience with animals. Right?
Anytime if you raise some animal, you can eat.
Because I hate a rabbit and I feel myself eating.
Okay,